Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Tonight we're talking drugs and debauchery on Taboo, Episode 4. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Debauchery, though? Is it debauchery?
Yeah. Anyway.
Debauchery. Hey, guys. Hey, tonight we're talking
Debauchery.
He's
Debauchery.
back. Guys, he's back.
Debauchery.
Of
My
course
best
I'm
friend's back.
Of course I'm back. What
He
are you,
drove Olivia
Scottish?
out. He drove Olivia out.
I am.
Oh,
Tomato,
we're
tomato.
talking
You know what I mean.
Drugs and debauchery on today's Taboo.
Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Taboo. We're talking debauchery.
I'm Abigail Fraher, and you can follow me on all social media at Abigail Fraher. We're missing Olivia tonight, so I'm a little outnumbered by the men.
Well, here's the thing. I
Little.
already follow you on all your social media, okay? I already follow you on all your social media. And it's a lot of debauchery.
Where can I follow you?
You guys can follow my debauchery on at I Am Tehran all across the board. I just want to give a special shout out to all the people who comment below. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. And especially all the love from Don Banks. Hey, you know what? Love you.
Going there.
Love you.
I actually do love you, Dawn. Thank you for sticking up for a sister. I appreciate it.
I appreciate everyone who comments because they're watching and that's what it is.
That's
This is an
important.
after show.
Rick,
And I am a debaucherous man, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rick Hong. And let's not forget the lovely Olivia Gabri, the real _O_G.
Yeah, she is.
And she's not here, but
There she is.
follow
She's
her.
here in spirit.
She's
Yes,
here.
yes.
all right, guys.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
I don't even want to speak any further tonight. Okay, episode 4. We start with James having a flashback to himself floating in water as the soldiers are coming to the door to get Lorna. And basically, he starts this whole thing, this episode, of being kind of with people when they're not there, when he's not really with them, kind of in an in-spirit thing. However, he told Lorna that I will be with you when you are on the inside. Hold out, like on East India. So basically, she gets taken to the jail. They confront her with two options of either to basically concede everything that she has in her name, or she's going to be murdered and hung. And then basically tries to rape her.
And we didn't get to see any nudity.
No, I mean, it was enough. I was a little upset as a
You
female.
were upset because he tried to rape her?
I mean, yeah, I think it was a graphic enough
That's not a
presentation.
foreplay. You realize that? I mean,
But that's not
usually it's
foreplay.
like
That's
the
not
laces.
foreplay.
That's
She
a
didn't
lot
want
of
that.
laces to like take off.
It was,
of it.
but I think that actually was really, like, the fact that she was wearing a corset, that added a lot to it, because I felt
the tension.
I felt very uncomfortable. I felt
It was
scared for
very
her.
uncomfortable. It was a very uncomfortable scene.
I feel like it was almost more uncomfortable than if he would have just went in and raped her.
And did it because it built up.
Right.
There's
that tension.
Time lapse of when it's going to happen, and you start envisioning it in your mind.
Right.
And it was very crude, as I imagine jails of the time were.
Dude, every jail's nasty.
It was so funny because now that you say that, when she was going into the jail, I was like, I don't know if anyone would be really that like scared for their life necessarily today. I mean, jails obviously today aren't a good thing. However, it's not quite on that level
That we know
that
of.
we know of.
Right.
Of mixed genders as well. Like, she's not gonna get gangbanged. Like, a girl's not gonna get gangbanged in jail today by a bunch of men.
Unfortunately,
It might be by women.
Unfortunately, that does actually unfortunately, it does happen. Very rare occasions, it does actually happen. And we, as a society, for some reason, especially when it comes to men, have just accepted rape in jails as a form of the punishment of being in a long-term jail, which is something that we really do need to rehash as a society.
I'm not saying that rape doesn't happen in jail. I just meant between both sexes.
But that's what I mean. Like, even in jails, and I'm really basing a lot of this on a Law and Order SVU episode, where
I just keep thinking of the show
or
Oz.
by the guards
Benson,
do.
well, yeah, the guards were about to rape Benson, and the guys, because I love her.
Yeah.
I love her. So it really is unfortunate, and it was very crude to see something like this happen. It was very unnerving. And it actually showed a strength in Lorna, which I
weren't sure she had it.
I wasn't aware of before. I didn't know whose side she was on. Up to this point, I still thought she was a charlatan. And then I'm like, wow, who's this lady? I want to know her now.
I just got who's that lady in my head.
Who's that lady?
Okay, I'm done.
Rick. I guess maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm outnumbered.
You might be.
It's not you. It's me that's outnumbered right now. Rick, please, put away your mangina. Let's stick to the topic.
Aw,
Wait a minute. Oh.
that's not nice.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Just add that to the comments, guys.
Just add it to the comments. No, but actually, speaking of that tension, up till that point where Lorna stood up and she said, well, I've been told to, wait for a better offer, I thought she maybe was going to give in. So the whole scene, I thought, was very high in tension, and both sexual tension of what kind of person she is. So I thought it was a great opening scene. I think it's the best opening scene they've had so far.
I feel like this is the best episode they've had so far.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
It was the most direct. It was the most focused. It was the most...
Telling.
It was very telling.
Yeah, like we had a lot of revelations of theories that we had talked about in previous episodes.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay,
You're finding
this
stuff
is
out.
happening. Yes,
Right.
that's true, and so which we'll get to.
Right.
It's interesting. It's an interesting episode. I enjoyed it a lot. The opening scene was very unnerving, which we keep saying, but it's because of how unnerving it was and how much it drew you into the story from
Right.
the get-go.
Right.
In this episode,
There was no playing around. It was just right into it. What's
it
happening?
wasn't cheesy.
Yeah. Kudos to them.
I was very, very engaged.
Yeah, it's not Delaney like walking around and like kind of grunting, being like,
Without his
and
pants on.
and like
Exactly.
doing weird things, and you're like, wait, what's he doing? What's in that bag? Like, who did he just kind of brush off?
I mean, he did not have pants on, though, in the first scene.
He
I did
didn't
write
have
that.
pants
Sans
on.
pants.
He didn't have pants on, which is...
It was nice.
Which, by the
The
way,
whole
does no
scene was
one
just
know how dirty this guy is sometimes?
filthy.
Like, can we shower once in a while? He's like getting cut up and then waiting around in
definitely has
basement
some, like,
water. And, like,
tetanus.
he's got gangrene in every part of his body. Like, can we
His
discuss
skin's
this?
falling off under those
Exactly.
clothes.
he needs some antibiotics. Yeah.
Like take a bath. And then we find out that because of this whole situation, East India pulls their people from the talks about India with Britain. No?
That was very confusing sentence.
Did you? The East India Company
Yes.
pulled their people from the talks that they were having with Britain.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I know it's East India and then India. Okay.
Yes.
And then basically Britain pulls their offer away, or refuses basically James' offer.
Right.
So he's kind of screwed in the sense, but then he takes it as, oh, the games are just beginning. Like, this is just the first step. Of course, I knew this was going to happen, etc.
Like this episode, they kept reiterating over and over and over again. Yeah, we're just pawns to you,
Right.
And you're like the player, like
Right.
manipulating everybody.
Well,
Because he is.
and
Delaney is the.
But I keep waiting for like the
But with that
the thing
moment,
to flip on him.
so with Godfrey in the brothel.
Yeah, the brothel, the brothel last week. The brothel last week.
Yeah.
I actually meant to say brothel because he's a bro. You weren't here. You get it?
I
you get
watched
it?
the episode.
Okay, cool.
I watched you guys.
Can you watch us?
I did.
So he basically tells him that they're saying gunpowder would be the only thing he could use with his positioning in Nootka Sound, and so
To trade.
right.
to
And
trade.
he has no real means to gunpowder right now. So basically, this episode is him coming up with a way to produce that, which we'll get that.
That
So
was his
did you-
mission. It was the
Right.
first time that we've had.
A
This is what he needs.
definite-
This is what he
yes,
goes for.
right.
This is what's gonna happen.
This needs to happen, so how are you going to do it? And so I think that was also nicer for viewers to follow. It was nicer for me.
Do you feel like you were gonna get your sex this week with Godfrey,
I
Godfrey and Delaney?
when
Did
they
you
started-
feel like they were gonna like?
I don't know if I want that necessarily. I think it's going to happen.
You think Godfrey and Delaney are gonna get it in?
I don't know if they're going to go as far as getting it
She
in.
wanted sex last week. Didn't matter what kind of sex. She just wanted sex.
I was happy
so-
this week with everything. We'll get to it.
Yeah, right.
But I think that is going to happen at some point. Maybe it's not full blown
But
dick
Delaney
in the
throws a
butt
lot of
sex, but it's going to be something.
Delaney throws a lot of jabs at
then he calls him a
Godfrey's
half man.
sexuality and calls him a half man, which
Yep.
I'm
But-
assuming is a very detrimental
Did
to
you-
his frame of mind. At that period, maybe
Oh,
half
100%.
man is even more
After he had said
negative in connotation.
he called him that after he had said he doesn't keep people around who don't deserve what they get.
And he said, even me, which made me feel like they had an intimate relationship we were not aware of as
they're holding
viewers.
hands. And then he called him a half man after, and then pulls his hand away as
gotta-
he's
you gotta-
saying that.
He's got to try, right?
I
He's
think
got to
he
try.
said that
you know?
also kind of to back himself up, almost. Like, you're just a half man, like, to make it okay in his mind that he was just kind of in this in this situation that might not be so typical.
I felt that he was actually alpha mailing him the same way that once going back to the prisoner and jail rape stuff.
He's definitely
it's an
a
alpha
top.
male. Like,
He's like
I get the
punking him. He's
top,
punking
you're
him.
the bottom.
You're the bottom, and yes.
You're the half man. You're below me.
You're
He's
my
negging
bitch.
him.
Right.
It's like a neg, where you give a negative passive-aggressive compliment
Right.
in order to hurt someone, to make them insecure and need your reinforcement.
Right.
And I felt that vibe when James made that comment.
I agree with you.
Okay, we're
Is
gonna.
that weird? No, I really do though.
I think we're gonna have to fight.
I think so.
I think you're just saying that just
No,
to say
I
it.
do. I
can't
feel
e-
like
I
we've
don't
been
even-
on the same like.
I don't even know you.
I don't want to go as far as the same
I don't even
vibe
know
because
you
I don't ever
anymore.
want to go
But we got a
that
lot to
there.
talk about, though.
We do.
So, you know,
We're
the
gonna
fight-
keep
the fight
moving.
can- the fight can
Yeah,
happen.
we can
It's-
fight
keep
anytime.
moving. Next on the
the
list.
fight can happen. The
The
fight can happen.
chemist.
You're wrong. Oh, okay, sorry. I jumped the gun. I apologize.
Next
I
on the list
apologize.
is the chemist.
Columbia, yep.
Who James basically wants to team up with to create gunpowder. And we find
Oh
out
yeah, and you got your sex in that scene.
that was weird sex.
No,
What'd you guys
What are you
think?
talking about?
Listen,
That was not the kind of sex like that.
he was
That
hitting
was
it from
some
the
weird
back.
sex. They think it's funny up in the headphones.
She was having a conversation. She was
Right.
like, "Yeah, well, you know what do?" I was
I'm like, that's not sex.
Yeah, my husband, like, he died a long time
Like,
ago.
I think
It's
sex
okay.
that you
It's
could be
okay.
having where you're
No.
having that kind of conversation, that's not good
She
sex.
was having a very
That was like for him. That sex was all for him.
And he's like wearing a nightgown. I love that
It's
how
like-
he's like wearing a nightgown. Where
yeah,
he's like,
a lot of
and
sex
it's just
there.
like thigh and like.
there's
it
your
was just-
legs. There's more legs for you too.
There's more
But
legs.
there was
I
no
didn't like his
romance
legs.
involved.
No.
She was impressed
And
by
then he
his
walks
little
in.
parlor trick.
He's like, pardon for, I hope I'm not disturbing. And they just stop and she runs out and he's just like, well, now I'm going to turn into basically, what did he say, an ape or a gorilla? Because it's going to turn to poison. His semen's going to turn to poison
Exactly.
if he doesn't ejaculate.
Which
And-
was a great listen.
It was
which
funny.
a
It was
great line.
comical.
It reminded me of when you were young and you would be like, yeah, you don't want me to get blue balls, do you? Because that hurts. You're just like, yeah, let's guilt them into doing
you
it.
wanted those.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. That was it. That was like the line.
But I thought that was pretty funny. And then he's like, well, are you poisoned yet? When he pulls the gold out and.
Well, he said he's just like you can finish if you want.
Yeah,
He's like if you want to finish, finish,
He's
and then
so comfortable. Just I can't tell if he's just so comfortable or he's just so sexually fluid or both. That he's just about it.
it's because he's got the gold. He just throws gold everywhere. He's like,
Yeah, but he's like, here,
I don't feel weird.
like,
Here,
jack
here's
off
some
in
gold.
front of me,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine.
Here's some gold for you. Like, don't feel weird. Here's gold.
I think it has a lot more to do with sexuality than sex itself. So
Okay.
it's not so much, in my opinion, sex and sexual fluidity. It has to do with the power that's associated with sex.
Right.
That
The fact that he's okay with it gives him the power.
he's powerful, and a lot of people don't understand. That's why, for example, powerful men tend to cheat on their spouses, is because there's a power in sex and sexuality and a manipulation that comes with it that gives one that alpha sense.
Right.
And James is so used to just being the one in charge. He walks in, he dominates every room, every situation. Even in his paranoia, he's still somehow dominating.
Yeah, I mean the thing too is it's like he just doesn't give a fuck. He just doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, dude, I just don't give a fuck. When he walks in, with whatever he's doing, wherever
We're
he walks
just dropping
into.
F-bombs now? That's
Yeah.
what we're doing on the show?
Hey, we're online.
Rick?
It's okay.
But you know what? They drop F-bombs on the
They
show.
do.
Yes.
So if you're watching the show and we also find out that the chemist has a nice turn on for nitrous oxide.
Whippets.
Nice what?
Whippets.
Turn on. He's turned on
yes.
by it. He gets
Yes.
excited. He was doing it all night at the party.
It's
He's
because it's a drug, and it's
Yeah,
still a drug that
it
a lot
is.
of people use.
yeah. But
They
I thought
huff.
that was funny too. They huff.
They huff.
Yeah.
Not snuff, like who's that guy? Pettifer.
I still think it was blow.
Not
It's
snuff, but instead huff.
And you
Do
would
we really
see-
think that it was snuff, or do we think that it was blow?
They couldn't have. Maybe they
yeah,
did
it
have
definitely
blowback.
was. I think they did. They definitely had it.
Yeah. Okay. I just didn't see this. I was
I felt like
You don't
I
have
feel
to
like
you don't have to gum it.
I feel like cocaine at that time was still medical use.
No.
I believe so. I think that cocaine at that time is still medical use
Okay.
for
We'll agree to
a
disagree.
narcotic medical use. I believe it was.
I believe you're wrong, but
Well, that's why we have the.
We agree to
What
disagree.
is the time? Hold on. What is the time frame we're looking at right now? Oh, you can continue.
1814.
Okay.
No, because you're just gonna look up cocaine as medicine in 1814. They're gonna be like, yeah, it was used as medicine, but like it was also used like as a drug. So just like today, prescription pills are abused.
Prescription pills are
Prescription
abused,
pills.
but they're not debauchery.
No, they're not debaucher. They're debaucherous.
See, so
They're debaucherous.
I don't know. I feel like it was snuff,
Anyway,
personally.
back to the chemist eating pigeon shit and cow shit. What do you think about that?
I think
He tasted it.
he did taste
He
it.
tasted the cow shit first, and then he was like, and then he took him to the pigeon coop, and he tasted the pigeon shit, and he's like, a little bit better. And then he said the ratio needed to be a little bit higher of
60-40,
pigeon shit to cow shit.
right.
Which
I was
I
thinking
don't
that
understand
shit.
how they're getting gunpowder of all of this stuff.
Me either.
But that's why you have a chemist.
That's
and the
exactly
chemist comes
why.
in to play.
And
And
even-
the chemist has a theory, and they're testing this theory. And it seems the way James's life goes, this chemist is going to be right.
Right. Yes, he's always right. He said his theories are always right.
That's what he says, but we don't really know that.
Well, he was also getting gunpowder from urine, which also another thing that I'm
Yeah.
going to need to learn
Alcohol.
these ways. Is he an
infused
alchemist or
urine.
just a chemist? It's just
don't know.
it's interesting theories.
So then we basically get to James with the horse. The horse let James know that there was an intruder.
Oh, the assassin?
Yes. An intruder, an assassin.
An assassin.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I was just saying the assassin.
Yes,
I was
the
making sure
assassin,
that we were...
who we find later on was sent by the Americans, which I don't know if I really expected that.
See,
I thought they were playing nicely, to be honest.
Because he just takes a little, like... it's
Okay,
like,
when that
it's like Captain
happened,
Caveman, just...
I literally was like, oh my, the sound effects on that were spot on.
You know what's funny? Because I actually was
think-
watching that scene specifically and thinking, I really think they killed this guy. Because just the way it went down and the way when he gets killed, it was it's
played it.
graphic, it's very
Yeah.
real. I'm looking
Oh,
for
are you
some
talking about
special
when he killed
effects.
The assassin.
The
Exactly, he killed
Yeah,
him and he
afterwards.
just like, shh.
And he
she's
pulled
just,
his guts out?
she's just talking about the Captain
talking about
Caveman
I know
thing.
the
pure-
Captain
okay.
Caveman. I'm just saying that entire
Scene was crazy.
it was just
I was
like-
horrified, honestly. Like I did one of these. I was like,
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you got like the meat
I get
hooks.
nightmares very easily, and the hooks were grossing me out. And like he really like put them in
and I
his
felt like there was
side, and
weight.
I
There
felt
was
it,
weight,
and he
and he
pulled
dra-
it,
and
and
it
it
was-
was like pulled him up and set him on the thing, and then tore his guts out. And I was like, this is some real shit going. Like it was intense.
It was intense. It was
Yeah.
good. And
Yeah.
once again,
You got
it
some gore
went
for people.
me thinking this is the most enjoyable of the Taboo episodes so far.
And too bad Olivia's not
100%.
here to say if she was grossed out or not.
I'm sure she was.
She was grossed out.
Now, with that graphic murder, we see that boy, and I think that was his son.
The boy that we met in the first
window.
episode.
Because
Yeah, because I think that's where they were.
they alluded to him in the beginning of before they started the show.
They did.
You know,
Right.
clearly it's like it would be weird to have like some random kid like looking at him being like, oh, that guy just murdered that guy.
Yeah. So I think that's who that was.
But you know what's interesting? There was a slip where I wasn't really sure, and because of time, I couldn't go back, where I swear I heard the guy who's keeping him, I forget his name, he was like, it's not cheap to feed your son or your father's son.
He said your father's son.
Your father's
Your
son.
father's son.
And that to me was like, wait, is this...
I feel like though they probably told him. I think they probably told everyone, like not everyone, because everyone doesn't even know about him, but the people that do know about him, I think it was more like, oh, it's Horace's son.
But if it is the father's son, that would also be a complicated situation.
Because it'd be his brother.
Exactly. And this goes on to the unanswered questions. Like, I still, and like last episode, you guys spoke about I still don't know if Winter's real.
Oh, well, we'll get to
yeah,
that.
exactly.
We're about to, yeah.
With the son, I don't know whose kid that is.
Right, because he
I
really
need to
could
know.
be. There's very strong. If it's his brother, I could totally see him taking him on and teaching him and having him work with him.
No, because he couldn't. Because now, if that is also a son, now the claim to Nootka and everything is a lot more complicated. Now there's
But-
two male
Or
heirs.
Even
the
though
crown,
it's the
or the
first-
crown and the East India Company can like come in and do something to fuck with Delaney and say like, hey, or with James and say like,
Exactly.
hey, we got this kid here.
We got
Okay.
the kid.
See, because I was still thinking he's
people's
firstborn,
weaknesses.
so like I didn't think there was any real threat there as far as inheritance.
It's just an interesting conundrum, especially
Right.
since it's a male heir at the time. I'm
That's
saying
true.
that there's something.
We'll have to ask Thoit. Thoit will clear
Thoit
it up.
knows-
He'll
He'll
clear
clear it up
knows
for
all.
us.
He's
We'll
like
give
the
him-
Johnny
we'll give him a
Cochran of the
call.
time. Yes.
And then we get to basically the telepathic rape scene. That's what I'm calling
the
it.
spiritual.
I think this is
the entity.
finally we see James Delaney's magic powers, and his
Yeah.
power is that he
Sexual
can
voodoo.
he can fuck bitches from afar. I mean, it's a great power to have, I guess. I mean,
I'm okay with it.
He uses it. He calls it breaking in.
Yeah.
And he breaks in to
their...
But it's not the only time. We saw a similar form of it with Lorna a little.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that, and she knows it's him.
Yeah.
From the split, we know it's him controlling it.
Yeah.
The husband comes in, knows it's him. Like
everyone, but that was, how weird was that when he was like, where James goes, I will follow. I was like, you're gross, man.
He's into that a little.
He is. I think he's turned
it.
on by the like incestual shit going on. I think he might be. I don't want to say he's turned on by James, but again, like you said, he has that sexual presence, that sexual prowess. Like it's just a very, I don't know. It was weird though. What did you guys think of that whole scene?
I thought, once again, it goes with everything we talk about is intense, unnerving. This is just another example of intense and unnerving.
That's probably the best sex she had, too.
And which we've been trying to decipher from the get-go, what's supernatural, what isn't supernatural in this series.
Right.
You know,
So finally, we get some supernatural. He actually has a specific power that we can see.
Yeah, it's just
and
like
you know
weird
what?
flashback.
It's an awesome power
It's a
to
cool
have.
power.
And to be honest, it was very hot. Like it was a hot scene.
It was.
She
did a good
engaged.
job.
Yes.
Yeah, she did a very good
Una
job.
Chaplin. Yeah,
she did a very good job.
Zilpha.
Zilpha. And then we get to the ball, the invitation to the ball. So the Americans sent Delaney an invitation, as well as the hostess. Oh, what was her name?
Lorna?
No.
No.
Oh, Countess?
Countess
yeah.
Musgrove.
Yes.
So he got 2 invitations to it. And we find out also that Zilpha got an invitation through probably the Americans as well in the end. So that's kind of continuing on.
And Brace reads Brace seems to be reading all of James Delaney's letters.
Yeah, he's like, don't, and he called him out for it, and that was,
He did.
You know, that was fine. And so then once he finds out that he's invited to the ball, he starts scheming, and he gets this whole plot together to basically rob the East India Trading Company of their gunpowder. With whores, urine, and he pays Atticus to move the urine.
He's got a certain affinity for the Queen Mother, the Den Mother of
Helga.
Helga.
Yes.
He's got an affinity for her because he keeps including her.
Right. He doesn't have to.
He
could
doesn't
go
have
to another whorehouse.
There's something about her that he finds
I feel like she may have taken his virginity.
Possibly.
She did. Well, he said he laid with her like in the first episode. He's
said
like,
that.
Yeah, but did
I
they say it
laid
was the
with
first
you.
time?
it probably had to be.
It had to have been.
I feel like it was, but once again we're not 100% sure.
And we
It
see
alludes
Winter
to it.
again. And I think, again, we were keeping tab last episode, but this was definitely, I think, a real interaction because Helga mentions Winter to James.
Winter is alive. Winter is coming, and Winter's alive.
So I think she's real.
Yeah, she's real.
I think it is possibly a manifestation of his personality.
But Helga acknowledged her though.
Mm-hmm.
So what does she say?
Do you think that he just made that up in his head too?
I think that Winter is more magical than real. And Winter, and I'll tell you why. Because of how Winter appears. Winter appears when he needs her the most. Winter appears and is helpful. Winter appears out of nowhere in his house last episode. Winter appears now.
And it's almost calm.
And it's the way it's almost not acknowledged. She didn't say, "Oh, hey, Winter, come here." It's just a sentence. Was it a double entendre? I don't know.
The one thing is interesting when you see how it's shot is that she's in the front and he says like, "Go get Helga." So then and then all of a sudden you see Helga, but you never see Winter and Helga together.
It
So
keeps it
in that
mysterious.
aspect,
It keeps
yeah,
it
that's where it
mysterious.
does stay mysterious. I agree with you.
And it could be a double entendre. Just the way it's used, even the name Winter, it could have a metaphorical use that we're not aware of because it's so subtle. We're just like, of course she's referring to Winter, the child. I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, so wait, what do you guys think in the comments? Because you guys have plenty to say. So like, Winter, real, not real? That's what we want to know.
I feel like everyone's mixed on the comments as well about whether they think she's real or not.
I really want to know what Don Banks thinks.
Don Banks, let us know what you think about Winter.
I need to know what you think about Winter.
You're our #1 fan. And then we get to the ball. And there's kind of this humor in the beginning. He's like, hello, 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 not hello, hello, hello. I don't know. I liked that.
And you got Whippet's guy. It's like
he was just like, yeah, Whippet's guy. Like, I don't know. I thought this episode. I mean, I think all of them have a little bit of dry humor, but I thought this one had a little bit more. Again, I think this was the best episode so far. So there's just a little bit of a light point. And James is a funny guy.
He was, but he was experiencing some PTSD while he was in the crowd.
Hardcore,
it was just
yes.
interesting how his paranoia plays so much into his life, and we still don't know about that aspect.
I want to know that. So I'm hoping the next episode, which we'll talk about obviously in predictions, but I hope that that reveals a little bit more, because I think that that would be a little bit more obviously enlightening for us. But like with the faces and the people were wearing the masks and everything at the ball, so I think that there's just a lot of chaos, and especially when he was focused on finding Zilpha, it was just a lot in his way.
I also think it had to do with that class of people that was there. So it's just something, there's something innate about that group of people that also makes him uncomfortable. I don't know if it's specifically large crowds or claustrophobic.
Sure.
I believe that
Large affluent crowds.
Affluence plays
a societal
larger part. It's a societal
issue.
Exactly, and it's like it spreads and it does cause him to be very nervous and his paranoia. And when he's like that, I feel like something's about to happen, but nothing happens. But I felt like he was about to strike someone at any time.
And but you could tell like he's self-contained, but only to a point. Like you were saying, it's you see that again tension throughout everything. I mean, even when they were in that box, you can tell he's uncomfortable when it flips around. Like he's just super uncomfortable the whole time. And meanwhile, this whole robbery is going on. I thought it was cool that Helga like started and joined in like with the gun and all of those things. Like I didn't expect to see that. As far as
Helga's loyalty.
No, to see her,
well,
like,
no,
to see
I
with
never
the
questioned
gun,
her
like, holding the
loyalty,
guy
but
up,
I
yeah.
didn't think that they were going to be involved on that level. I thought it was just going to be them being whores. And so that was successful. And then meanwhile, inside, James and Zilpha have their moment where he basically calls her out, letting her know, which she already knew that was him, but kind of just voicing it publicly, like that was me with the break-ins. And what was funny actually is not funny, during that moment when he was doing all the voodoo on her, she was praying. She was doing
or she was chanting something strange.
No,
yeah.
she was praying.
Oh, she was praying. Okay.
It was Our Father. It was the Our Father prayer. And so she's like really tormented by the fact that he still has this power, and she's, I think, even more on top of that is tormented with the fact that someone's going to find out the whole time.
That's a big part of the Taboo series
thing.
so far,
Right.
is that they obviously don't want people to find out.
Right.
As if their reputations are good.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, his is
He's
ruined.
a cannibal and a murderer, but
and her husband already knows
not
that.
incestual.
Right.
Her husband enjoys
He knows,
it, but
right? And then
not incestual. Like they're hiding that aspect of their relationship. But I suspect it seems like a lot of people allude to it a lot.
a lot. Well, then we see
Dumbarton walks. Yeah, Michael
he
Kelly walks in
and basically calls James out. Then we have Lorna calling out Zilpha, like.
No, and Dumbarton is even like saying, he's like, listen, you can have everything you want. You know, like the Nika Sound stuff. It's like, let's do the deal. You can take Zilpha away. It's just like, dude, there's nobody will judge you in America. Just do your thing.
America,
we
love
like
that.
Where the Brits, so like the Brits and the East End, like they're all like shunning him or being like, that's taboo. You know, obviously taboo. So.
Yeah, they're giving them the free pass to America as part of the package, which just lets me know that James Delaney isn't Muslim.
And then so then Lorna and Zilpha start.
That he's not Muslim.
That he's not Muslim.
He's not
because they're gonna let him come in, right?
They're letting him in.
Right.
So then Lorna and Zilpha. So then like they're talking. Sorry, I kind of cut you off.
No, you're fine. I mean that was still later on, but Lorna basically asks Zilpha. Not permission, but she's basically having girl talk with her.
I don't think that it was girl talk.
It was
think
to make
it was
her
Lorna
jealous.
Jabbing, exactly.
100%.
Creating that, I don't know him either.
Right. And the whole episode, not the whole episode, but the last half of the party, you see Zilpha running around like a schoolgirl. Like, it was unsettling to me. Like, even when he was in the closet with the Countess, she's sitting over the crowd, you know, like, she, in her mind, has no clue what the hell's going on in that closet and what they're talking about. In her mind, she's like, what are they doing in there?
Well, she just had mental sex with him.
Right.
So she might feel some type of way. And she clearly has very strong, torn emotions regarding James.
Right.
Some of affection, some of attraction, some of disdain. That's a very powerful combination to have. Right. And this is clearly a murderous family. So I don't think Zilpha is obviously as pure as we would all like to believe, that she's somehow a victim in this. She plays a strong role, And I
She
think
bothers
that
me.
we might see Zilpha become violent in a way
Yes.
we would never expect.
Wait, what aspect of her bothers you?
Just the fact that she tries to portray herself as like you said, this pure person who just wants nothing to do with him. Yet she's running around when no one's looking, like a schoolgirl
then you must
thirsty
hate
for
a
him.
lot of
well, 'cause I feel
girls.
like she.
No,
she,
honestly, that's thought behavior. I don't like that. I do not like women that act that way. To me, just be upfront about it.
Two-faced?
No. And whether you're confused about it, just be open. Obviously, that wouldn't make a good storyline. However, as a female,
Let's not forget that James is her brother.
I
Let's
understand.
Not forget that
I
part.
understand
that part of the story is this
I
isn't just some girl
understand.
who likes a
However-
guy and is like trying to play hard to get it. That's her brother.
but then you can still be open about the fact that you're like, yeah, obviously I have those feelings, but this can't happen because you're my brother, rather than all the bullshit of like, ew, you're disgusting, but yeah, I'm gonna follow you around and like drool over you when you're in a closet with somebody else.
She's passive aggressive.
She is
in
passive-aggressive
her
to the nth
attraction
degree.
to James, but it's understandable. Especially, not only are we looking at the time period, we're also looking at the incest part of it. She's married. We act like she's not married because we don't like her husband, but she is married.
No, again.
So let's say
I'm
James
just saying
is
she's a weak
guy.
woman, I think.
I feel like she's stronger than we are giving her credit for the simple fact that the power that James exudes over almost everyone else, and she still attempts at least to resist when most other people give in so quickly.
Okay.
She can't be bought. She's the only one that actually has a true affinity towards James.
hey, she took the diamond though.
She liked the diamond, but she didn't give in to James because of the diamond.
Right.
She kept the diamond. She didn't use it for financial gain. She kept the diamond because it was a token of affection. She didn't use it as a monetary
right.
gain.
That we've seen yet, and on top of it, I mean, she doesn't need to. She's with her rich ship insurance guy that won't buy her new China yet, with Geary.
But that's,
But we
that's
also
what I
know
mean.
that she doesn't-
lives a
they don't-
proper life.
But how rich are they? Because they said that they don't have enough money to support a kid the way that they would want to. Like, they have enough money. They're rich for 2 people. They're not rich for a family.
They're credit rich too. It's
Right.
also a lot of
Yeah.
show, which is why
Which I'm
he
not
wanted the
disagreeing with
money.
you.
Yeah, credit rich is a whole different aspect of.
But I think also too when Lorna was talking to Zilpha and we have the same father, there was like a weird look on her face, and I think she just made this grotesque connection, but it kind of turned her on, of this like triangle of the fact that she slept with the dad, who is father to both these children, who she
Lorna's
wants.
down for the threesome,
She's
and
down.
I want to watch.
Do you think that's gonna
episode.
happen?
The threesome.
Do you think it will
episode?
happen?
I,
Do you think they'll go that far? Because Games of Thrones would go that far.
Well, because up until this point, at some point we talked about last week where we thought maybe Carlsbad was Lorna, but
And then
now
we find out that she's the countess.
not. Yeah,
She's
that
the
she's
countess.
not. So
Well, here's my thing when it comes to the threesome theory.
Sure.
Okay, so let's discuss the Three's Company.
come
I
and
do
knock on our
not
door.
see James actually physically interacting. Even the physical interaction with Zilpha was minimal, and he did not chase it. It's that mental seduction that's more. So, do I think anything's actually going to happen? I do not. I think that mental game, it's the untying of the corset, which is just allegories to everything that happens in the show. The only thing that happens definitively is violence.
Right.
But sexually, things don't even happen and interact the way we assume. Even the chemist's sex is vague. He's just basically banging a girl on a table. But there is no actual interaction sexually.
Right.
Other than her talking about her husband. Ah, he's dead.
Exactly.
Right.
Like she's just it's just interesting. Do I want it to happen? Yes. Do I want
The acts
James
are all-
and Zilpha
yeah.
to have a sexual encounter in some very awkward way? Very much so.
Yeah.
Do I want James to get it on with Lorna? Yes, I do. It's so much tension you can cut it with a knife.
But I don't think James is feeling Lorna, really.
I think that James
He's like laser focused on what he's there to do. So that's why I'm like,
James
it's
likes
just like
having
she's
power over Lorna as
He likes
well.
having power, but
Because he takes care of her at times when you expect him to get rid of her.
no, I'm not saying that. But I'm not saying he doesn't care for her, but I don't think he cares for her
Sexually?
in a sexual way. And you could tell even when he wouldn't dance with her, and then the Countess wanted to
can't
dance with
dance.
him, and he was like, "Oh, I don't dance," but then he went with her. Like, you just
He
see,
wanted
you see
to
all
manipulate the Countess. The Countess, he
know.
had a purpose.
No, I know that, but I'm not discrediting that. But the look on Lorna's face when he went with the Countess, because again, Lorna doesn't know anything really that's going on behind the scenes. So it was just funny this episode to see all of these female tendencies and all this jealousy that I don't know you haven't really seen prior to this in the show.
It reminds me of the time when we went out to
Yeah.
the clubs and you acted exactly the same.
Did
it
I?
was actually, and it was disturbing watching the show and
Yeah.
seeing this. I was like, oh my gosh, such an Abigail thing
Such
to do.
I don't think so.
Lauren, like Abigail, oh my God, Abigail, I won't sleep with my sister for you. Like, you're so weird. It was actually very awkward.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
it's interesting. It's interesting to see that from a girl perspective, like
Yeah.
you're saying it, because
these are all female tendencies, I think. They're normal.
and it's very
this is normal.
interesting to see because you're seeing it as a girl,
Right.
and being more empathetic towards Lorna and being more empathetic towards the Countess or Zelfa than I can be. I'm just seeing it as like, these are just girls, and you're like, this is the girl that could be in the situation or even within me, and it's very interesting.
I wouldn't go that far with
I-
it. The
I
within
would
me.
say
You
within
had
me.
to add that on. You had to add that little extra little
Sorry.
jab there, which is negative.
Hey, just salt bait it up. I salt bait it up.
So then basically we find out that Countess Mossgrove is Carl's bad. She also talks to him about the tea monopoly and
The assassin.
America knowing everything
He
and
wants
about
a lot,
the
by the
assassin.
way.
He's like
wants the
going
monopoly
in
on tea
everything.
or on fur. That's a big
Huge.
monopoly to have on
He's
anything.
being really extra
But
with
is he,
his
though?
requests.
I don't know anymore. I don't know because he's so maniacal and diabolical in his plans. Is that actually what he wants, or does he want something else? And this is to
That's
throw
how- well,
sand
this is
in
how
the
he's gonna
west
get it, right.
and attack from the east. So
Possibly. And then we get to this point where everyone's just, the turnip was real at this party. Geary was like taking whippets. He was wasted. The whores all come in. The chemist is high off his ass. Like, everyone's just lit. And then all of a sudden, Geary just starts going off on James.
You banged my. You
yeah,
banged her.
you banged her. You fucked her. You fucked her. And then he grabs him, takes him outside, and
he punched him, which was quick too. Like,
but I
made it
thought
look like
no
he
one was
sick.
gonna see. I thought that this was all gonna be like he was gonna take him outside. No one was
Right,
gonna
right,
see. It was
right.
gonna
Oh,
be
he's
between
feeling a little
those
sick.
two.
He's just feeling a little sick. It's
Because I even
okay.
started to write down James puts Geary in line, and then he didn't, and then Geary just turns into this asshole in front of everyone, and of course Zilpha yells out James's name instead of her husband's name, and he gets pissed about that, and then
Because
challenges him
she
to a-
knows that
he'll
James
kill
is going
him.
to kill.
murder.
Yeah, he's got the capability of being able to pull it
Dead.
off.
He just bit someone's neck.
Yeah, like,
yesterday.
and then rip guts out. Like
Like it was nothing. Like,
yeah.
oh, not
You know,
again.
when they said it, he's a savage.
So, basically, my question is: do you think he's going to accept the duel?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
But that's
know-
only because I saw the previews and it looked like he accepted the challenge.
No, but even back in the day, though, if someone, someone throws it out there, and then it's legit, like,
So you
okay.
think Gary's dying?
Oh, he's a dead man.
Even Aaron Burr accepted the challenge. It's real.
That's right, but there's not, you know what? Gary's an annoying character. There's not
He's
much
so-
going on
there's-
with him.
yeah.
I don't
so
think
it's
Gary
actually,
dies.
I don't.
I would like for him to be
I
off,
see. I don't
dead,
know
and
because
then,
if he died, I think that would open the door to so much more shit from Zilpha.
I don't think he dies because he's such the main antagonist in the story.
Yeah.
He's part of the antagonist. It's East India. The Crown, which is, we haven't seen enough of
lot.
them.
See, that's what I'm saying.
of
I'd
the
like to see
Prince
those
Regent,
things step in.
And then him as the person that kind of is the head of everything that's against James. He is just the somehow facilitator. He's involved. He's one of the main manipulators. I don't think he dies and the storyline moves along. But then again,
What do you know?
I was gonna say I've never been wrong, but here's the thing. No, then again, that would just because it would be interesting to me to keep him alive.
Yeah.
If he died, I also wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
He dies, and Zilpha what? But I just don't think it can be that easy. There has to be a duel,
There
and
has to be
somehow he doesn't
something,
die.
right.
Well, he's the main
James
cockroach.
spares
James-
him.
He's the main
right.
cockroach.
James spares him,
Right.
and that might be a mistake that comes back to bite him in the ass later.
Yeah. I really thought James might be like. I didn't think he was dead, obviously, when that guy hit him on the head, but I was concerned for a
You
moment.
know what would be the best twist if he gets killed in the next episode, and it's just no more James, and it's
just like the rest of like what happens. Like Lorna takes over.
Lorna takes
and it's
over.
like,
It's
bye.
like, no, James.
Party's
Turns into Game of
done.
Thrones, and
That
you're
would
like,
be a
what?
twist.
They
That
killed
That
Sean
would be a
Bean.
twist.
Yeah.
That would be a
Exactly,
twist.
that'd
I
be a
don't
twist.
see that happening.
I don't either, but that would be a twist.
Okay, so I think we just got through our predictions for next week. Or do you have anything else to add?
I predict that James and Zilpha need to have sex.
They need
because
to.
if we don't see this sex, like at this point, I'm trying to
So
go
sex next week.
Actually,
predictions.
you know what?
Next week predictions for sex.
on. No one has sex.
No one has sex.
Sex, whatever. You know what? To go with what you said, I actually think you're right. You know what? He won't. He has the ability to kill Gary, but he will deliberately not kill him.
put
He'll
him
just
through
put him
some
down.
misery,
He'll put him
right.
down to just to say
he'll
like,
live through embarrassment.
Dude, right?
Exactly.
He'll be embarrassed in front of all his peers, and he called him that horrible word as well, like
The word that you hate.
What word? I don't. Which word are you referring to?
the N word.
Yeah, we can't say it.
N.
You're funny. You're really funny.
We can't say
You
it.
really want me to just say it on air, huh?
Narcissist.
Yep,
What is
that's
that?
what it was.
Yes.
Which I thought you were going to touch on that a little bit more because it's like what the third time that they've done that.
He's thrown it out, but here's the thing. I actually, when I started watching, I was like, why do they keep doing this? And I realized that the use of the word at this time period, after I researched it, seems to be niggardly. It's a very common word that they use. It's a word that's more it's like it's calling someone a negative word, and even though it is racially motivated,
Okay.
it's something you would call someone when we were kids. We might have used the word retarded,
Right. Okay.
or we might have used the word faggot. And as we grow up, and now especially in the world today, all these things have such harsher meanings, and we realize where we were wrong.
Right.
At this time, this word is akin with those words.
Okay.
And I'm very glad that these words are removed from our language because of their negative, deep impact and connotation.
Well, I think that wraps everything up. Anything else to add, guys? No? All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Go ahead and leave your comments below. I don't even think I need to let you guys know that. Go ahead and like all of our all of our show on YouTube, and you can find us on
Thumbs up.
iTunes and Google Play and SoundCloud, and you can follow me on all social media at Abigail Fraher.
Yes, you can. You can follow her. You can live vicariously through her.
Bathroom
She's going
heartthrob.
to be in Vegas this
Or
weekend having a
bathrobe
great time.
heartthrob. Bathrobe heartthrob.
That's
sorry.
me.
That's right.
That's me, the bathrobe heartthrob. I'm back.
I'm still waiting on my bathrobe.
I will get you a bathrobe.
Okay.
At I am Tehran all across the board. Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. Please follow me. I'm almost at 1 million followers. I just need 1 million more people to follow me. Thanks.
I'm almost at 6, so I'm a dangerous man, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Rick Hong.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.